Hey guys,
Hi, Coach.
let's go ahead, fire away.
Well, Coach, when did you know that it was potentially possible that Coach Mahaffey would be elsewhere and wouldn't be around for you guys for the opener?
Really, I found out probably the Saturday before the week of the game. Well, it might have been a week and a half before the game. I'm sorry, there was 2 full weeks, so it was Saturday. 2 weeks before the first game was when I first found out about it. I'd already anticipated a lot of this because of the ability and the background of Ryan, and quite frankly, a lot of guys on our staff. Because through this whole process, you got to kind of plan ahead for anything that could happen. And I always look I try to have answers before questions come up. And as I was looking at the season, being that we were going to be playing and everybody else was done, I just knew the coaching carousel goes on from the end of the FBS football season till February. And mainly for us at Northern Iowa, the coaching carousel really hits us in January through March 1st, quite frankly, because the BCS takes care of their coaches first, and then there's a domino effect of when a BCS guy takes a coach, then whoever they took that coach from, that team is more than likely going to look at our team for our coaches. And thus I anticipated that we would lose a coach somewhere from January 1st to March 1st, and it could have been multiple coaches on the staff. It turned out that it was Ryan Mahoney with an NFL opportunity, and I knew that as well because the NFL has some great opportunities right now for guys like Ryan Mahoney. So it was too good of an opportunity for him not to leave. I know it was very hard for him to make that choice. And as well, the Packers were, Coach Flores was tremendous talking with me about it, being that we were in the season. He was concerned about our season and the timing of what he was trying to get done. So everybody was working together, but everybody had Ryan Mahoney's best interests at heart, as well as the organizations that were involved, which was the Packers and UNI Panthers. So we were all in communication for multiple days, trying to do what's best for everybody. And Ryan was in that middle of that with an opportunity to go to the Packers.
You knew that this season was going to bring different things, challenges that you've never encountered before. This is certainly a great example of that. So what can you tell us about the experience of, okay, we know Ryan is gone now. We got to get done what we got to get done here to be ready for the game because of that. So what was it like, adjusting what you had to adjust or getting done what you had to get done as a result of this?
Well, that first week, like I said, it was 2 weeks before the game is when we found out that he was leaving. Then it was more so I wanted to get through that week without any change. So we got our work done at practice and things like that. But the following week is when we had to alternate some things at practice to make sure that the tight ends were covered, to make sure that the running backs were covered, and how to coach the individual part of that, because we lost a coach in the segment teaching of this. On game day, we had to adjust of who's upstairs, who's downstairs, what the responsibilities are, because we had that set, but we had to adjust who was going to do what, and we wanted to make sure the coaches stayed on the floor. So we'll still make some changes going into this week to clean that up more so than what it was on Saturday. But it did make us adapt, and it took time. The big thing is that stuff takes time. It takes time away from other things that you wish you were doing and be more efficient. But we also know that's part of adapting here, and so we didn't flinch. We just did the best we could with what we had, and I thought it was fairly smooth behind the scenes. But I also know after the fact of some things that we need to clean up due to that as well, and that's what we'll work on and get cleaned up today.
Coach Watson calling the plays?
Yes, sir. Yeah, and that's Coach Watson came in here really as a quarterback coach to do a great job with our quarterback, and I think we saw evidence of the production at the quarterback play in the throwing game. I think that was evident watching, at least it was to me. But as it turned out, he was also here to really help mentor Ryan as an offensive coordinator, and kind of bring his thoughts and ideas to it. And as it turned out, that transition was smoother because of that, because when Ryan left, it was that terminology and those thoughts had already been taught to our team through Ryan's version, but of course Coach Watson had hands on that the whole time.
Will you look to hire a new coach for the offense, whatever role, but just a new coach for the offense during the season?
I've been thinking about that multiple times, and it's a double-edged sword. Yes, I would like to, but two, trying to get a guy right now to come in here, I don't want disruption either. This is an 8-game season. I think you got to be careful with who you bring into your circle, and to bring a totally new person into the circle when we have rhythm and a lot of things going for us right now, I'm cautious. So it's a double-edged sword, and I don't have a great answer for you right now. It's making sure our players, put them in the best position to win and getting taught in the classroom, but not be disruptive to what we're doing either, with bringing new faces and new thoughts into this time slot. So right now, it's got to be the right person if I did it. So I don't have a great answer for you.
Okay, thanks, Mark. Go ahead, Nelly.
Well, Coach, everybody's doom and gloom after this, but there's still a lot of seasons left, even though it's a short, weird season. What was the approach to the team yesterday when you maybe got together and talk about the mission left for you guys?
What was your first statement on that? I just missed the first phrase of that question.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's kind of doom and gloom because you lost your opener, and there's such a, everybody's already talking playoffs when there's still 7 games to go. What was the message that you still have plenty of time to put yourself in a great position? Would that be the message yesterday?
Well, the message yesterday was putting forth what we need to do get better this week, and that was really the whole message. I mean, it was more go back and see what happened, particularly what happened in the first half, and what was the difference between the first half and the second half, and what were the reasons, and then go back and analyze how you're going to move forward. So, yeah, the last couple of days was just to think without overthinking what happened, but also make the adjustments moving forward. And as far as, I mean, everybody else can worry about the other stuff. I'm trying to get them ready for this week, and my biggest concern right now is where I'm going to practice this week. So everybody else can worry about everything else, but the turf is up in the dome. We have the conference championship track in here, and they need to get prepared for their championship on Saturday. So we rolled the turf up on Sunday, and we're really fortunate right now that it's going to be in the 30s this week. So the first thing that happened was the sun came up, and the second thing happened now is we need to find a place to practice when we start practice tomorrow.
Did you watch Youngstown State play yesterday?
I did. I've watched the film. I did not watch it live. I was with our football team yesterday. It was more important for us to watch ourselves than it was for us to watch Youngstown because we got the film. So I didn't watch the game on TV. I knew we were going to get the film, so I dealt with that when we got the film.
Well, Stambaugh Stadium has been a tough place for you guys. I think last time you guys went out there, it snowed the night before as it was, so it was a pretty cold day. Nothing unusual out of this trip, but it's a difficult place to play. What makes it so difficult to go play at Youngstown?
Everything you just explained. They call it the Ice Castle, and that's when you played. And that's when you played there in October. Now it's think about what it's like now. So if it was the Ice Castle then, it'll be something else now. But it's with this whole process, boy, it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out because I've seen the film of a lot of teams now in this league. And nobody's the same. The big thing that I took from our game is, I saw what happened. Of course, I know what happened, as everybody does. But I looked across the board. I'm looking at an offense that we had, we lost our receiver Weston. Of course, Wolf was already out. I got Mason, Neeson, and Ellis on the sideline with me. So the only returning starter on the O-line and the tight end position was our left tackle and Trevor Penny, and our new guys that came in the program, I was very pleased with. Fountainberry and Quan and Dom, Frazier. I thought Sapp. I all thought showed up and did some really good things in their first football game here. And so it was just getting our players back, and actually the ones that we lost, even when we lost our tight end, so he's out for the season. So now we'll end up playing with the tight ends that you saw the other day. So from our own football team, guys that are right here, offensively we had 5 starters that were out, and they're actually here. They haven't left. They're still here. It's just that they're out. So when we get everybody back and have the depth that we need, a lot of those things can get shored up as well. And that was just the first game. So yeah, those are all the things I'm dealing with.
Can you give us an update on Weston and Hampton?
Probably not as early as today. Those probably more answers by, Wednesday. I think when you get more solidified answers on those guys, will probably be Wednesdays and Thursdays. But nothing that you can confirm anything new than what we know already from Saturday.
Well, new coaching staff at Youngstown. What can you tell us about Youngstown? What's the Panther fans gonna see, or what are you guys gonna see?
You know what? I think we're all. I mean, they don't do anything that we haven't seen in this league. I'm sure they'll bring their own personality to it, but I do think they've always had the talent. They played 2 quarterbacks when they played at North Dakota State, and they played them evenly the way it looks. So one's a little different than the other, but as far as watching it from a fan base, I don't know that you'll see any formations or defenses that are out of the ordinary. It just comes down to technique and talent, and of course they've always had the talent, and now the other phase of it now is putting the coaching personality into it. So, and I don't know any of those guys, so this is new to me as well.
Mark, you wouldn't rule out Isaiah, Quan, Tyler. I mean, wouldn't rule them out completely for Saturday right now?
Right now, I would not. No, I would not. That's an honest answer. I think by Wednesday, of course we'll have to fly on Friday. So I think by Wednesday, at least Wednesday evening, we'll start to have a pretty good idea of who will make that flight.
Running game was a struggle on Friday night. How much of that was South Dakota State playing good defense like they're known to versus maybe you guys coming up a little bit short on your execution?
Well, we didn't execute well in everything you said. They're good defensive front, always have been. I thought 12 played a really good game for them, and we didn't perform well enough as a unit to rush the football. I did like how Dom ran, but we didn't execute well enough across the board to be successful at it. And yet in a lot of other things, we had success on play action and some deep balls, because we got the pass interference. But when you can't run the ball, as I've always said, the call sheet gets pretty small. So you have to be able to get the ability to rush the football, and that's what we did not do. And that's what's got to be focused on no matter what year or what team you got. It always comes down, in my world, of rushing the football.
Mason Neeson probably in the same group as far as Saturday is concerned.
Yeah, I would doubt you're going to get him back. Ellis is out for the season. I doubt you're going to get Mason back this week. I talked to him this morning. So I'd say that one's more doubtful than the other ones we talked about. Losing Hoosman on Thursday hurt because he was our starter, and then he got hurt on Wednesday night's practice. So that one was the one that kind of hit us a little bit. And then McCabe had just came back off COVID recall, as I call it, because he was out for 2 weeks because of contact tracing. So he had just gotten back in. So we were down to just Dom at the tailback position. So when we lost Hoosman, that faltered a little bit too, with all those things happened really late in that week, right before that game. So a lot of things happened on offense, right, going down the stretch of that last 2 weeks, that wasn't planned.
Well,
Coach, go ahead, Cole.
No, go ahead, Nelly.
What are your options for practice this week?
Whew.
Practice that.
I don't know. You got any ideas?
Go up to Wartburg, maybe?
So I'm seriously, I'm looking at all options. And the best thing that happened is when I watch the weather, we're getting decent temperatures. And the temperatures do help melt some of these fields. So we'll look at which ones, I just think we got so much snow, and that last night's snow didn't help because that kind of covered up and gave us a couple more inches. So we have the ability to go to Sportsplex, so we do have that. We're limited on our time over there because they run a business as well, but they've really worked well with us to try to help us. The last resort is we can use the dome if we wanted to, but it's got a track surface on it, so we can't. It's kind of like practicing in a gymnasium. Or for the climate, we can always go outside and practice in the parking lot, and that's a serious statement. I mean, it's all options are on the table right now, but I think the key to this whole thing is that the sun and the temperatures did rise, which gives us an opportunity to get outside this week.
Did you get over to Memorial Stadium?
Yeah, I'm actually gonna drive over there. I'm gonna let the heat off the sun, because the best thing it is the sun's out, and that heat will melt this stuff on those turf surfaces that have the black rubbery system in it, because the sun will radiate that heat. So if we can get some of that melted down, you might have a chance to get on one of those fields.
Okay, thanks, Mark.
Yep, thanks guys. Anybody else?
Thanks, Coach. See you tomorrow.
Yep, see you later.
Morning.
See ya.
Thank you, Coach.